Welcome to Life After Divorce, Honest Conversation for Women podcast. I'm Fiona May. This podcast is for women navigating separation, divorce, or the rebuilding that comes after, especially if you're feeling uncertain, emotionally tied, or questioning who you are now. Divorce changes more than a relationship. It can change your confidence, your identity, and your sense of what the future holds, even when the direction was the right one. Here, we have honest, grounded conversations about what life after divorce really looks like, emotionally, practically, and personally. Some episodes are conversational between myself and my co-host, Sandra Lee. Others include inspiring women and trusted experts who understand this chapter of life deeply. This space isn't about fixing you because you're not broken. It's about support, clarity, and reminding you that you're not alone as you move forward. I'm so glad you're here. Let's jump in and start with today's episode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Sandra Lee here. And
Fiona May.
so today we're going to go through some strategies on how you can achieve that. And they're different to what we shared at the event as well. So here we go, ladies. This one is called Achieving Financial Independence and Stability. So the number one thing that we do when we want to achieve our financial independence is work out what that even means. Everything means something. Financial wealth and financial independence and freedom means definitely something to different people differently. So let's write down and take a few moments now. Just what is financial freedom to you? I heard years ago, if you were to lose all of your money, what would you have left in your life? And your health and your family and your friends and fun things that you're doing. So this financial freedom, it's definitely having the cash to live the life of your choice, but do you have all those other things with you as well that you can enjoy your cash as well? So what is financial freedom to you? It's to have a lifestyle maybe that's lots of travel. It could be that you have a beautiful car or a beautiful home. Maybe it's that you're wearing beautiful clothes or jewelry, or maybe that you're able to give to a charity or donate it to a cause that you're passionate about, and maybe a cure for something that you want to help research in. So there's lots of different things. So we just want you to pause here. I know you've just started, but just go through and pause for a second and just write down, just in a few sentences, what is financial freedom to you? What does it mean?
Welcome back, ladies. I hope you did that exercise, because financial freedom does mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Like for me, I just want enough that I don't have to think about how I'm going to pay for things. So I want to be able to fly in business class or first class. I want to be able to eat where I want. I want to go where I want, travel or take vacations. I want to be able to just live the lifestyle that I want. What really isn't over glamorous lifestyle. We're pretty down to earth and we don't have a huge amount of demands. Financial freedom to me is having lifestyle, because my money gives me the ability to have the life that I want. And the life that I want is surrounded by the people that I love, doing the work that I love, and being able to make an impact. So they're things that sometimes it's not about how much money you've got, it's about how you use what you've got to give you the lifestyle that you want. Everyone has a general desire for it, but that's too vague a goal, just wanting to be financially free.
It's true. Even knowing some of the wealthiest people in the world, Gina Rinehart, her family's all over the news fighting each other. So it isn't that you have unlimited wealth, it's that you have enough wealth, and what that definition is, because you could get to that point and then you just want to keep earning more and earning more. But are your family with you? Is your partner with you? Are your friends with you? Are you all having fun and in a healthy lifestyle as well? Financial freedom can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but you've got to find something that really resonates with you, because that's what motivates you to move forward. You need to get specific about amounts and deadlines, ladies. So I used to do my vision board and actually put down that I wanted to be a millionaire. And what does that even mean? Is it $1 million dollars worth of assets, or is it $1 million worth of equity? Because that's a big difference. So you could have $1 million house, but you could owe $800,000 on it and only have $200,000 worth of equity. You're not technically a millionaire unless you've got equity, cash. So if you were to sell everything and what was left in cash, that's what your net value is. So get really specific about amounts and deadlines. So in the next 12 months, my goal was to, for example, earn $200,000, which is more than what I was earning at the time. I was earning maybe 120 or 130. So I thought, how can I earn another $70 or $80,000? Or how could I earn another 100,000? Or if I'm only earning 50, or how can I earn another $3,000 a month? Something that is really achievable with a side hustle or another job, or maybe investing, buying something, going in with some friends, buying a property, doing a renovation on it, splitting it up at the end. So it doesn't have to be something that at the moment that you think is super tangible and impossible. It might be something that you can't quite work out just yet how you're going to do it, but know that the how's going to come. You've got to start at this point with the what does it look like and when is it going to happen?
Because a lot of the ladies have given up dreaming, and ladies don't think about how they can create the lifestyle that they want. We know going through a divorce is really challenging, and we know that for a lot of ladies, the uncertainty around their financial situation is one of the things that causes them the most heartache, because they just feel so unsure about what their future is going to look like. So we want you to get some goals, and your goals just have to be something that are going to be moving you forward. The more specific your goals are, the higher the likelihood of achieving them. Every thought is first created in your mind. So we want you to start thinking about what you want, and then we future pace ourselves and we see ourselves actually having it. And then that gives us the momentum and the encouragement to take action to achieve our goals.
So ladies, grab that pen out again or start thinking, maybe pop the notes on your phone, but write down these 3 objectives. So what is your ideal lifestyle when you reach maybe retirement, or rewirement as I like to call it? So you're rewiring versus stopping, and you're just changing things. So what is my ideal lifestyle when I am working less? And it might be that I'm working, because I can't see myself not working at all, because I love doing what I do, but certainly maybe reducing my days to 1 or 2 a week or 3 a week, so that I've got more lifestyle, more time with the grandies. So what does your ideal lifestyle look like? Does it include a partner? Does it include friends, travel? Does it include amazing gourmet food, a cruise on this luxury cruise ship? What does it look like? And how much do you think you're going to need? Because you're thinking now, I'm not saving anything and I might be spending everything I'm earning today, or I don't have enough to retire on because it's going to just run out. I think the pension in Australia at the moment for a single person is about $25,000. So it's not what you can rely on to live off. It may be in the lifestyle that you're going to choose to. So what does your ideal lifestyle look like if you were to have that financial freedom to do it and achieve it?
And how much should you have in your bank account to make that possible? So we've got to have a look at what the interest rates are and what the return on investment is, because self-funded retirees do very well when the interest rates are high. But when the interest rates are low, that just erodes their ability to have a good lifestyle. So we need to be consciously aware what the banking cycle is and what interest rates are.
Your age, ladies, when do you want to reduce your hours of work? When do you want to have a rewirement or a retirement? And what age does that look like? If we were the reality of us living to 100, if we were to retire at 60, we've got 40 years of still living to do that we want to live, not frugally or without doing what we want to do. And we want to be able to fund potentially private health cover and going to the gym and going to do fun stuff as well, which is going to cost more than what it's costing now, because we're going to have more time to do that type of stuff. So what is age is a deadline to save that amount by. And if it is only a few years and you're looking at needing another million or so, then there's some big things that you're going to have to look at changing in what you're doing.
So we want you to make a monthly budget, because you can't manage something that you don't measure. So you have to be able to measure it, and you have to be able to know if you're on track, or you have to know if you need to do something more to get your goals. So we have to be able to measure everything. And a budget is the best way to guarantee that all your bills are paid and your savings are on track, because a lot of people, they pay all their bills and they keep what's left over. Whereas we want to encourage you to save and put that money aside and then pay the bills and live off the balance. So you're not going into more debt and you're managing and budgeting properly.
Yeah, and it's that regular routine that reinforces your goals and bolsters a resolve against temptation to splurge. So if you know you've got to put X amount of your salary or X dollars away every time you get paid, whether it's for even a dividend from your own business or maybe it's a pension, then you know that money's going to be popped away and ideally into a separate bank account. And that way, when you see some beautiful new outfit or something else, maybe a holiday that comes up that looks super cheap and too good to miss, you have that resistance then to miss that, so that you can save for the bigger picture and achieve your goal, because it keeps you focused on why you're missing out on things. You need to have the goal and the reward at the end of that as something exciting to work towards.
So one of the first things you need to do is pay off bad debt in full. Every debt that you've got will have a different interest rate. So you've got to start getting curious and work out what interest you're paying, how much it's costing you, and work out a way to be able to consolidate your debts. So credit cards and other high interest consumer loans are toxic to wealth building because they cost you far too much to have. So you want to be consolidating your high interest consumer loans, and you want to be using your equity in your home or your home loan for you to get a better interest rate, what could be down around 5 or 6% as opposed to 22, 23, even up to 29%.
A lot of people don't look because they don't want to know. And this is what I had 14 years in the National Bank. So understanding the psyche of people coming in and going, hey, I'm just paying the minimum off my credit card or the minimum off my housing loan. These amounts that people are paying isn't even covering the interest in some cases. So go onto your online banking or go into your bank or look online and Google it. All the interest rates are publicly available. And your interest-free 30 days or 55 days or whatever it is that you receive on your credit card, if that's what you're relying on, then look at what your penalty rate is if you miss a repayment, which will probably be more likely more than the interest rate. And the interest rate is probably sitting at 17 or 18%. So even that's close to 20%. So you start thinking 20% of my purchase, if I've got $10,000 worth of debt and I'm paying 20% interest, that's $2,000 a year that's getting accumulated to that monthly. It's getting calculated monthly, but it's getting added on, and then I'm getting charged interest on that interest as well. So it's called compounding. So it's a very negative way of being able to get behind and getting on top of your credit cards and using your credit cards for good, because credit cards aren't necessarily bad. I've bought business items with my credit cards, and as long as you pay them off on their due date and you're not paying the penalty interest or the interest rates, then they are good. But if you've got something there that looks like it's going to take longer to pay off, you go to the bank and ask them if you can consolidate. Look at maybe adding them to your housing loan, or look at maybe combining them into a personal loan. But just do your homework and see which is the best option for you to make your own intelligent and smart decision. And building your credit score. Having a credit card or having a loan is not necessarily, people think, oh, I've got no debt and I've never had a loan in my name. Especially if your husband or your ex has had the house in his name or the cars in his name, and you don't have what we call a credit score because you've had no debt, then it's important to probably consider looking at getting something like even a car, borrow the money, even if you pay it off in a short period of time, or notice that if you've got a credit card and you keep on top of the payments, you keep a good credit score. So having a credit score will help you access funds if you need to borrow money later. If you've got no loan history, then that's something that'll go against you as well, which is crazy that it does, but it does. The other thing is a bad credit score. If you have missed payments or you've missed maybe paying tax payments, that's all lodged into Dun & Bradstreet. So that's actually noted. So when you go to get more money out at a later time, they look to see what your credit score is, and they will actually increase your interest in some cases on your loan, and you'll end up paying more because you've got a bad credit score. So it's a penalty on top of a penalty. So You can have your credit score fixed or removed or restored if it's incorrect as well. So you can find out, you can Google how to find out what your credit score is and your credit rating. And once you know that, then you can manage it. Again, you can't manage what you can't measure.
So number 4 is create automatic savings. So we need to set a goal, and then we need to
pay yourself first, ladies. So this is the most important thing, is you go through, not just set a goal, but you actually pay that savings out of your salary and out of your drawings, or wherever you've got any money that you're getting pension. You put that savings aside. Years ago, when in the bank, I saw people that were earning $50,000 a year, they had no savings. And some people were earning like a couple of $100,000 a year and still had no savings. And they were just having more expensive cars or more expensive schools or more expensive houses. The ones that did save, the first thing they did when they got there, in the olden days, we used to get actually in an envelope with cash, which was really nice because you could divvy it up into other envelopes. But nowadays, I do it into a bank account. So I have an automatic payment, even now, that goes out of when I receive money, it goes into my savings account. And I have had one in the past that was a tax, because I've got to pay GST and I've got to pay income tax separate. It doesn't just get deducted from my business, it's got to be kept aside. So I've always kept money aside for these taxes. And so I know I've got my savings looked after. And my daughter, she's just bought her first investment property. She's got like a maintenance account. So it's for a house and it's for her car. So she's putting, for example, money aside every month or fortnightly when she gets paid, that's going into there. So she's worked out all her insurance for the year, a set of tires, and all the things it might cost for that she might have as far as the year's outgoings for a house and unit, including her levies, and she's put it across to a maintenance account. So whenever those bills come up, she just takes it straight out of there, the car license and everything. So she's got her money sitting there ready to go. And then you end up with what you have. You've got your house loan. We're going to talk about what percentages to hold for all of these, but then you take out your have tos, and then you take out your nice tos or choose tos. So that's that 50-30-20 rule, isn't it, Fee? So the 50-30-20 rule, ladies, the 50% is you have to pay out. So that's your mortgage or your rent, whatever's going to be a roof over your head. And it's going to also be your food, and it's going to be medical. It's going to be things that you have to fund every month or if your paycheck. And that's your, anything over that, then you're living again, potentially above your means. And the next one down is 30%. So 30% are your choose to spend. So they choose to go out, choose to buy Uber Eats instead of cook at home, choose to maybe have Netflix, Prime, and how many people have lots of different Disney, Apple TV. So you're choosing all of these lifestyle choices, and that's all in your 30%. And then you've got your 20%, which is your savings. So 20% comes out first, 50% comes out next, because that's your have tos. And then your 30% of your choose tos is what you have left, that you can then choose to not go out 3 nights on a weekend because you have got nothing left, as opposed to eating into your savings. And that's how you save money, is you take the savings out first, and they become a not negotiable routine of doing it.
Yeah, so you really need to build a cash stash. And so this is for a number of reasons. One of them is security. And so if something happened to you and you got laid off, or you got injured, or you had a health issue, you need, in our opinion, a cash stash what will allow you to live comfortably. I like 3 months, it's a buffer. So you've got that much put aside in case something happens. And that then just gives you that security that, you know, you're safe, you don't have to overstress. When I had a lot of staff, I used to regularly get people come to me and ask me if they could have a advance on their salary for the next week or fortnight. And because they could not put their hand on $1,000, if their hot water system broke, or their washing machine, or a sudden medical issue or something, they didn't have $1,000 or couldn't get access to $1,000 quickly. Well, that to me is, we need some security around ourselves, and that doesn't feel very secure to me, knowing that just 1 week away from being homeless or being evicted or something like that. I know how hard this is for so many people, especially a lot of ladies after divorce. There's no shame, there's no guilt or anything. What we're trying to get you to do is look at how you can proactively manage these situations so you're not caught in these with just not knowing what to do. And sometimes if you can't manage those 50, 30, 20, obviously they're the ideals, they're something for us to aim for. Then maybe you could look at, we've had lots of cases where ladies just on the wage that they were getting, a full-time wage, they just couldn't survive, not bringing up kids, and especially now that they were single and they didn't have the ability to have a second income from their husbands. So for some of those ladies, we've got them into higher paying jobs and changing their career paths totally so they could just bring more money in. The second thing is, like Sandra said, is cutting your expenses, going back and just buying what is a need instead of a want, so you can work more to the 50, 30, 20. Sometimes people looked at what did they have that they could use to bring in extra money. So it could be like selling down some things that you're not using, or utilizing your house better, either renting a bigger house and subletting some of the rooms, so those people would help you pay your mortgage or pay the rent. So it sometimes just means that you need to think outside the square a bit. Having that safety buffer is definitely something that gives you a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, and allows for unforeseen circumstances, like are you getting sick or medical bills that pop up that you're not expecting, and things happen as an accident because they're not planned and you're not prepared for them, and they're things that can come up. And I think you've got that peace of mind, and we talk about creating an environment that you are living in and less stressed. That's certainly the first place that I always had. I always put a little stash of cash away, and I still do today. Right from when the kids were born, every month I put away some money every month for them into a separate bank account that was under my name. And over the years, different things have come up. Initially, it was school excursions and things that were outside of my normal living budget that just turned up that you didn't realize were coming, and it was like hundreds of dollars, and you had to suddenly find the extra money. So all of those things came out of those accounts. And then as they've got older, and one's just got married recently, I was able to give him some cash as well. But I've been saving that money. He's 29, for 29 years. A couple of times I did go into it because there were emergencies and I had to, but I've made sure that as soon as I could, I put the money back in there as well. To negotiate, ladies, this is a thing, especially the people pleasers in us, we don't ask for a discount, and whether we've got a fear of maybe feeling like we're sounding like we're cheap, or that we don't feel confident to ask, or we're hesitant, or we've never had to in the past. We've always had someone else asking and pushing for a bit more of a discount, and there's ways to do it that aren't rude and they're not in their face. There are ways that you can do it in a real classy way, ladies, and a way of just showing that you're not going to be charged more than you should be, and that you'll want a fair price, and there's nothing wrong with asking for that. And it makes a big difference when you start looking. I rang up my phone company the other day, and they just said, oh no, we'll take $10 off your monthly bill. And I'm like, I didn't even ask for it. They just said, no, you should be on a better plan than that. Boom, $10 a month. Just even small amounts is $120 a year. And a power bill, I always check my power bills, and also looking at what other bonuses come with them. Can you get Qantas points with them, or extra things as well? Or they're just ways of looking at curiosity, is what Fiona used as the word. And I think that's what we all need to be more curious, and we need to look into things, and we've got to take responsibility. This one is just conquering that fear. And it will literally, it's easier to save money than it is to save money as far as off your costs than it is to build up a cash stash. So look at ways that you can actually save money that you'd otherwise be spending and use that money and save it.
One of the things that I always see is a lot of ladies don't negotiate with tradesmen. They don't get 3 quotes for everything, and they're afraid to ask for a better price. Just do your homework. And one of the ways that I often do it is to offer cash. So I ask them, what's your best price? That's the first thing. So I'll wait for them to give me a price. And then I look at it and I say, so what's your best price? And then they will usually come back, and if they say, oh no, we don't discount or something like that, say, well, what can you throw in? So very often they've got some product on the side that they can throw in, and it might be like if you buy a car, it might be carpet mats, it might be seat covers, it might be just things like that that they get and they can give you. So that's the first thing you ask is, what's your best price? What else can you throw in? So that's your second question. But so do these in order. And then the third one, is there a discount for cash? How much would you give me off if I pay in cash? And most people will go, oh, I can give you the GST off. The GST is 10%. That's pretty much, that's still a 10% discount that you just got. So there's very few people, especially tradies and stuff, that won't give you the 10%. But you can even ask a little bit more than that. You can say, okay, that's the GST. I can understand you're giving me that off because you're not going to be paying it. What about you're going to not have to pay tax on that money? So, what about 20% instead of 10%? Because you've got to think about that. If they were declaring it, they'd probably be getting a 30% paying tax. Maybe they want to give you a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with 10%. And what they do with their money is their business. You're just paying for a service and how they declare it. And we're not encouraging
Tax fraud.
tax dodging,
No.
but what you're paying your bill and what they do is up to them. But don't be afraid. Become a master asker. So often I just see people not negotiating, and you can save yourself a lot of money being a good negotiator.
Absolutely, ladies. And it ends up being back in your pocket even better.
Yeah.
And build a relationship with people that that are looking after your money. And don't just send them your financials every end of your new tax receipts at the end of the financial year to your accountant and just ask for the tax bill and get it and pay it. Go and see if you can meet with them and have a coffee with them. And what I do every year, and I do it in April, is I meet up with my tax accountant and I go, okay, what's it going to look like this year? And he'll say to me, if the last quarter is going to be the same as the first 3 quarters, because we've only got maybe April, May, June to go. He'll say, I think you probably need to put some more into super, or you need to probably do something else with your money. I know you talked about you're going to buy a car. Maybe you buy it this year, not next year. Or some years he's got maybe wait until July and buy your car then, not June. So they're decisions that do help if you can meet with your accountant earlier than the tax year and have a plan of how you're going into the end of financial year. And especially ladies, if you have gone through and you have settled, you have got the funds split and you are in control of the money, you can actually say, look, this money's come in. What's the best thing I should be doing? Should I be putting it into my own name, into a trust, or into a term deposit, or I've got questions, and what's the best way to minimize my tax? What's the best way to manage it going forward? The other thing is, we're going to get to a financial planner as we go down, but if you are working with a financial advisor or a share broker, to do the same with them, go and meet with them and tell them what your plans are, that you want some cash available now, but you want some of your cash put away so that it's secure. And you want to split it between different asset classes, which means different properties an asset class, shares are an asset class. So they're different asset classes so that you've got your finances split in a way that suits your risk profile, because everyone has a high or low risk profile or medium. So my risk profile is quite in the middle. I'm not a super risky person with my money. I like to make sure I don't mind having a little bit on more of a high risk sort of investments, but most of it I want to be in very safe, solid, maybe lower return, but I know at least the money's there. So everyone's risk profile. So they'll work with you on your risk profile. We're not giving you financial advice on this call and telling you where to put your money, but we're certainly telling you to find out who it is and about as much as you can about them that's telling you where to put your money.
Yeah. So review the relevant changes in tax law to ensure that all adjustments and deductions are maximised each year. So don't just take it that someone else is going to care more about your money than you do. Be aware of what the government is focusing on. Every year they focus in a different department, in a different area. So know what they're targeting. If you've got investment properties, make sure that you're getting your deductions. Make sure you know that you can claim and you are claiming everything anything that you can legally claim. We encourage you to pay the minimum amount of tax that you legally can pay. And so that's just being smart with your money. You don't need to be paying more than you have to. Also, I want you to be consciously aware that not everybody who's going to be giving you advice is going to have your best interest at heart. There is a lot of people out there in the financial sector who care more about the commissions that they're going to get than what investments they're going to recommend to you. So you do your due diligence and you make sure that you are in control of whatever decisions you make. I was ripped off by somebody I trusted, and it's not a nice feeling to lose a big amount of money. And I don't want to ever see you in that position, especially if you have done a settlement and people, the crooks can smell. Crooks can smell when you've got money and you're not sure what to do. They will come up with a million things that you can do. And I just want you to know, if it feels wrong, if it feels like it's too good to be true, believe it. You are better being safe than sorry at this age in your life. We're getting older. We don't want to have to rebuild our wealth, and losing wealth at this age is a terrible thing. So there's a lot of wealth going to be transferred as the baby boomers retire, as our parents pass away. You need to be very careful what you do with your inheritance if you're going to get one, because you're not going to get it again once it's gone. So be very careful.
Yeah, it can be really easy. If you're sitting here and you're listening to this and you've got no money, it's hard to comprehend this. But when you have seen people that have had hundreds of thousands of dollars given in a split with a financial settlement, and even people that have won millions in lotto, for example, it goes quick if you don't look after it. And a lot of the people that have won significant amounts in lotto, like millions, they did this, like followed them up a few years later, and all of them had spent it, and they had no assets in a lot of the cases. So you can burn through money super quick, ladies, and this is it. Not as far as your ability to earn more, because obviously you've always got that, but this is your money. This is what you have, and make sure that what you do have, you protect and you look after, and you don't give it to anyone else to be making the financial decisions on it. Even with a financial planner, you're still understanding where the money's going, and you'll do your homework. We're going to get to financial planners in a minute. But the financial news and developments, read the paper, listen to the news, or if you don't have a physical paper, they're online now. But certainly keep up with what's going on in the stock market. Keep up with what's happening with, if you hear of a amazing tip on some shares that you should be buying in a mining company or something, go and do your homework on that mining company. And if you really want to put something into them, put a small amount, what you'd be prepared to lose. Just literally yesterday, someone said that their mate, it was a guy that had gone through and he just received his financial settlement, and it wasn't a huge amount. It was like $40,000 or $50,000, but it was what they had, right? So he had this $45,000, and he was getting phone calls from this cryptocurrency company that was trying to get him to invest with a 40% return guaranteed. And he gave them $40,000 that he had. And it's all gone. There were scammers. So it wasn't even that he lost it on the cryptocurrency going up or down. They were just out and out scammers. So just don't give your money away. Don't give your power away. Keep control and ownership of everything that you have, because it's yours, ladies. And this is your financial freedom. This is your choice at the end of the day, to be able to be doing all the things that you want to do and all the fun stuff as well.
One of the great things that we find is that because we're educated, because we have been in this industry for a long time, we can help ladies when they are unsure of certain situations. And one of the things that they come up against is scammers and people trying to defraud them. And they prey on unsophisticated investors or vulnerable women. I've had lots of ladies that I've worked with through the years have come to me because they have been preyed upon and lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. This is just heartbreaking. These are often a room full of telemarketers in a back street in Nigeria or Sierra Leone or something like that.
Or Australia.
And Australia, America, everywhere. And they prey on vulnerable people, and they pretend they're your friend. They pretend that they love you. They pretend that they want to be in a relationship with you. And they're very sneaky and crafty. They won't ask you for money outright because they know that you're going to be having your walls up, but they will groom you And sometimes I've seen this go on for months, and until the point that the women are totally in love with these guys, that they believe that all the stories they tell, that they're in the US military, and there's always an excuse why they can't meet up physically, but then they will start to ask for money. And I've seen them string it out for up to 3 months before they start. And it's just a little bit at first, and then it's a little bit, and then it's a little bit, and then it just gets more. And these ladies are getting caught. So do your financial research. Go online, have a look at ASIC, watch pictures like the Tinder Swindler, just so you know and you're educated about some of the scams out there, because it will help you when you're dating or when you meet somebody to make sure that they're not just lining you up to be their next meal ticket. We also see a lot of men coming into relationships who have come out of divorces and don't have much, and they're looking for bed and breakfast, and they're looking at you to set them up so they can move into your house because you've got a house, they haven't. And then next minute they've got these debts, and you're being asked to pay off their debts so then you can do stuff together. And before you know it, I've seen time and time again women being left with debt, men walking away with their assets that they took from them, and that's just breaks our heart. Please don't put yourself in those positions. Protect yourself, and we'll talk more about that.
But I think that's the thing. We don't want to put the fear of God in you, ladies, but we just want you to have some healthy questioning going on and listen and trust yourself. Trust your own gut instinct and trust what you're feeling. And if it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. I heard that saying, once in a lifetime opportunity comes along every 3 weeks. Believe that, because if you're thinking this person, I have to help them because they're going to be my only person that's going to want to date me, that's not true. What you're telling yourself is true. It's not. And
what they will tell you as well.
Yeah.
Just be careful. There's a lot of unhealthy people out there, and we don't want you to get caught.
So maintain your property is the next one, ladies. So what does that even mean? If you've come from maybe a relationship that you haven't been the one that's done the maintenance, and that's probably been in most cases, although a lot of us girls can get out there with our power tools, it's usually not something that we probably have done maybe of late. This is something that's super important. We're not telling you to have to go and do it yourself, but you might have to pick up the phone and get someone to come and fix a guttering so that it doesn't damage the roof or cause mold and cause a bigger issue. So just be aware of what's going. If you do have a house, look after it and spend a bit of money on it each year to make sure that it's been maintained, because that money is a return that you're going to get on your investment of spending. As far as asset growth and keeping and maintaining any asset that's going to go up in value is a really important thing to do. Taking good care of your property and making sure that you're going clothes as well. I've put in here, and shoes. How often do we throw things out because they've got something missing and they're not that old? We've only worn them once or twice. And I know when I've gone into my mum's wardrobe and so on, she's got things in there that she's fixed and repaired and hand washed shoes so that they look brand new again. And there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to always have the latest just because you've seen yourself wear it before. Most cases, someone else hasn't seen it.
The cost of maintenance is a fraction of the cost of replacement. So it is an investment not to be missed. You can add a lot of value. If you've got a little apartment or a house or something like that, a lot of ladies like decorating. It's not hard to decorate and to add a bit of value to your house. Do a bit of garden, put in some light fittings, just changing things, just being thrifty and finding how you can just add value to your assets. It's a really good way of building wealth that people don't think about. But when you come to sell, it all adds up.
Yeah, and things like even your garden, they're all things you can do yourself. And a garden being maintained and tidied up on a property that's about to be sold will add instantly $10,000 approximately on that sale. Everything has a return. And ladies, everyone can paint. Like, it's not that hard. So it's some of the things you think just because you haven't done them, it doesn't mean you can't do them. And places like Bunnings, they have ready to go kitchens, and you just literally can have someone pull out the existing kitchen and whack in the new one, and you've added significant money potentially on the property. Or you can buy this paint that goes, my sister did this. She's got a unit that she had rented, and it had all the old 1980s, that peach colored bench top laminate. and old coloured floor tiles, and she bought this special laminate paint and she painted it all and painted all the floor tiles, and they're all white, and put new doorknobs and everything, and it looks amazing. It looks brilliant. And the other thing is, if you're living in it and you feel like you haven't got the money to upgrade things, it's a small investment that you could put into it that can make you feel like you're living in something that is your choice of color, or it feels more like you because you're enjoying being there.
You learn to know the difference between the things you want and the things you need. When we were growing up, my mum and dad always used to say to us, is it a need or a want? I also did this with my kids. I used to say to them that they'd ask me if they could have something, and I'd say, you can absolutely have that. You just find a way that you can pay for it, because I want you to have whatever you want. If it's a need, I'll supply it. If it's clothing, your uniforms, your lunches, your meals, all of those sort of things, I would supply that. Happy to. But if you want other things, then you've got to find a way to make that happen. And knowing the difference, because keeping up with the Joneses or just having things because they're in fashion or that's what everyone else has got, you just got to be consciously aware. Sometimes that's outside of your bounds of what you can actually do for yourself right now. Know if it's necessary, and if it's not necessary, then maybe you can go without. Simple.
Rather than put things like a Bali holiday, because the girlfriends are all going at Easter and it's only a few months away, or this month now, then you could actually potentially say, you know what, I'm not going to put it on my credit card. I'm actually going to go without something else, or I'm going to sell something to make it happen. So don't go into bad debt to pay for something just because you really want to do it. Work out a way. If you couldn't go into debt, what could that look like? Can you get some extra hours at work for the few weeks before you go? Or can you sell something, some metal out the back and get it dropped off at the scrap metal yard? Or I don't know, sell the push bike that you're not using. So there's things and ways that you can do things if you have to, and just looking outside of the normal way of thinking.
Because we need to live within our means. And I think this is the bottom line, because we've always said, if you tell me what you earn, I'll tell you what you spend. And unfortunately, that is true for probably 95% of the population. Only 5% of the population retire financially free, in that they have enough to retire on. 5% of the population. That's pretty scary, isn't it? If we take responsibility for ourselves and our lifestyle, we can focus on living a good life with less. And it's easier than you think. In fact, before rising to affluence, many wealthy individuals develop the habit of living below their means. I live below my means. I always have done. I like having that security of having money available in the bank if I need it, or that I have investments that I know are going to bring me a residual return every month, and I don't have to physically swap my time for the return on the investment. So I have always lived below my means, and I don't find it hard to do. I couldn't believe when I first started employing a lot of staff, they went to everything. They did everything. Every concert that came up, every show that was on, they would go to it. And yet they were the people who were complaining that they didn't have any money and they had no investments. And it's just how we allocate our money as to where we put it, as to what we're going to get later on in life. Delayed gratification is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You don't have to have everything right here, right now. So I think it is really important for you to decide at this stage what you're going to do to rein back some of the things that you don't need to be spending money on, so you can live and save and have that peace, that buffer that's going to give you the confidence and safety that you need.
Some of the costs might not be your own. It might not be a Bali trip. That might be something way off in the dream world, but it could be that your kids have got 4 different sports going on, and you've got to have sports shoes for netball and sports shoes for hockey or for football, and you've also got to have a sports outfit and ball fees. You've got to have just the kids playing sport is really expensive these days. So I know myself, I had 4 teenagers living under one roof when I was with my second husband. We both had 2 sets of teams, which was interesting, but that's another podcast. What we did was say to them that they could play one sport each season. So each of them, my daughter played netball in winter and basketball in summer. My son, he only wanted to do karate. He just did that all year round. My partner's daughter, she played hockey and she played tennis in summer and hockey in winter. And his son played football all year round. They were very keen to be, they made decisions on what they wanted to do, but they were only allowed to play one sport a year. And if they wanted to do music, they were only allowed to do one musical instrument. So you just physically can't, even driving them to all the trainings and live within your means as a family as well, not just yourself. And it's not you that should be sacrificing so the kids can do everything. It needs to be a balance between you all. You're all getting your cup filled with what you need to a point with something, but you're all potentially maybe not getting everything you need as well. It's all good. It's got to go around. And the kids respect that when they are used to that. And if you've already set a precedent, sit them down next time it comes around to starting off a new sporting year and say things have changed.
I found it was a really good opportunity for me to rein in a lot of my spending. And I was very generous with my family, friends, staff, and I was giving money out left and centre. I was always the one hosting the parties. Everyone came to our house, drank our food, drank our drinks, ate our food. And I often thought that I wonder when the money stops, how many of these people will be around. So when I got divorced, I actually used it as an opportunity to say that I'm a single mum now and that the Bank of Fiona is now closed. And a lot of those people did drift away because I stopped paying for everything. And it's just the reality. But it was good because I needed to do that for myself as well, because I hadn't had strong boundaries. And when everything was great, we spent a lot of money. I needed to just pull that back in, and it was an interesting exercise. So this isn't a challenge to adopt a minimalist lifestyle, what we're talking about. We don't want you just living on bread and water. It simply means learning to distinguish between the things you need and the things that you want, and then making healthy small adjustments that drive the big gains for your financial health. So sometimes it's just a matter of cutting down or going without now, so then you can have more freedom in the future. And planning and having a strategy to move you to where you want to be is what we're talking about. But if you're living outside your means and you're getting yourself in debt, that's a very stressful position to be in. I would rather absolutely to have the control over my finances, so my finances aren't controlling me. When you need more money, there's only two things you can do. One is cut your expenses or earn more money. That's basically what it comes down to.
Cutting your expenses sometimes can be quicker and easier. And that's why companies put staff off, because the first thing they do is they cut their expenses to improve their bottom line. And unfortunately, it's usually the employees that go first. So that's what they do. They cut their costs. So finding a good financial advisor, we touched on this earlier, ladies, and it's about when you do have your bit of cash stash put away, that you've got a bit of money there, or you've gone through your financial settlement, we encourage you to go and see, one, get a good accountant. Two is a financial advisor, someone that can sit down with you and go interview you. They'll usually takes a few hours. They ask you for a lot of information in advance, what cash you've got, what your plans are. You fill out some forms. And when you sit down with them, they'll say, okay, we think your risk profile is probably quite conservative, for example. They'll give some recommendations of where they think you should be putting some of your money, maybe some in the bank, maybe some into maybe some shares, maybe in some managed funds, whatever that looks like. It'll depend on how old you are, depend on what money you've got, depending on what your plans are. So the other thing that they'll work with you on is ideally, and this is a question to ask them as well, is do you have an updated will? You don't have to wait till you get to the financial advisor to sort this out. If just by going through your divorce, it makes your will null and void. When you get married again, the same thing happens. So whatever will you've got in place or had in place, it's null and void. So you can download a will from Google and you can find one, and you can have a will that's been, as long as it's witnessed correctly, is a document that's legal. And you could even have that as a temporary one until you get organized with a proper financial planner one or a will estate manager. So these are the things that you do need to invest a little bit of money back into at that point when you're ready. It will cost you a little bit to go and see a small amount. They usually charge up front to do a financial first meeting, like a discovery, and then they'll give you a quote on how much your financial plan is, depending on whether it's just you with your own funds or whether you've got companies or trusts or more complicated setups. Personally, I've got trusts and companies and things. So that makes it more complicated and more expensive, but that's okay. They're giving bigger advice as well. Just on this one, I also, when I meet with my financial advisor for the first time, again, you're interviewing them to look after your money and you need to think curious. So you want to invest your money with someone that can look after it, and you want to know that they are financially stable and well off, that you're not meeting them in some backyard, or even a home business is not ideal, that you want somebody that has good stable means. Ask them how much money they made last year for their investors, how much money they made themselves in their own managed funds, and ask some questions, because you're interviewing them to look after your money, and that is really hard to earn that money, ladies, and you want to make sure it's there for you when you're ready to retire.
I have a self-managed super fund, so for me, being in business, I knew that I could invest my money probably better than and get a better rate of return than what a lot of the managed funds can do. And I also don't have to pay their fees for looking after my money. So there's different ways you can go about your super. If you're an employee, then it might just be into a managed fund, and you can choose your super fund. So you can do your research, you can go to your employer and you can tell them what fund you want to invest in. And then within each fund, they have different risk profiles, and then you can pick the risk profile that you actually want your money to go into. And sometimes that will be, you can choose, but it might be diversified. What's a certain amount into all the different categories. So if one category performs well, or you're taking advantage of that, and if one of the groups doesn't, then you're just minimizing your risk. A self-managed super fund is something you can look at, but you need to be aware that if you haven't got over a certain amount of money, then the fees of yearly auditing and things like that, they make it not worthwhile. So there is a figure that you want to know as if it's worthwhile for you or not. But if you've just got your super, consolidate it all into one fund, and then be looking for the fund to invest your super into that's going to give you the highest rate of return.
Yeah, because I know even myself at different times I worked for different companies, and they had a super fund that they paid super on my behalf into. And in the end, I had 6 super funds. Some only had $3,000 or small amounts in. So I amalgamated them all into one fund. I also Googled the top performing funds in Australia, because that's where I live, for superannuation the last 5 years. And I looked at all of their fees and charges as well to see how comparable they were. So I did my homework before I amalgamated them into one of the funds as well. Do your homework, ladies, and this is your money. It's really easy to lose it, and it's really hard to earn it. So make sure you look after it. You're the one that needs to make decisions. You can ask around, and you can ask your friends, and you can ask your accountant, and you can ask, if you've got one, your financial planner or your bank manager, whoever you want to ask, your father, whoever. But at the end of the day, you need to take ownership and make your own decision. And if you're still feeling unsure, keep asking more questions, because that certainty will come when you have had your uncertainty answered by asking more questions. So keep asking questions until you feel confident of where you're going to end up putting your money and what you're going to do with it.
Ladies, you don't know what else to do, and you've got cash, like you've got money in the bank, put it on a term deposit. Instead of just leaving it in your check account getting 0 or low interest, pop it into an interest-bearing account, and at least you're going to be getting, in these days, 4 to 5%. It makes a big difference. If you've got a loan, make sure you're using offset accounts. If your bank doesn't offer it, go to a bank that does. So it's just being savvy. These things are easy things for you to do, what are going to save you a lot of money.
Even on loans, the difference, if you've got a housing loan, for example, and you're paying it off monthly, change your payments. Do your homework and check what bank fees there are for transfers. But if there aren't any, which usually there aren't in some banks, go and pay it weekly. I know that sounds like weekly, but yeah, instead of paying it every month, pay it every week, because you're getting charged interest on a daily balance. So if it reduces down, and it will end up saving like tens and tens of thousands of dollars on interest, depending on your loan period and the loan amount, of course. These are the things that are just some simple things that you can just go and do yourself tomorrow. You can just change your regular payment plan, or you can ring your bank and get it set up. So They're things that cost you nothing because you're going to check your bank fee charges and things like that, but they should cost you nothing. The other thing, if you've got lots of loans that are all in different places, you can ring up and consolidate them potentially into your housing loan as well. If you've got, for example, those credit cards. So this is really super important. We're so busy all the time, we just exist and we race to the end. What are we racing to? Death. So it's really important that we look at what that retirement and that quality of life is, and we're working towards reshaping what we're doing every day so that we're really super happy and loving getting out of bed every morning. So it's not a race to the end, ladies. We don't know what's going to be there and we can't remember it. For the people that have been there, I can't tell us. So the ability for you to be able to enjoy the journey. So don't sacrifice your health to build your wealth. One of the big things you hear is people, they've given up their health to build their wealth. And they said they would, in a heartbeat, they'd give all of their wealth back to have their health back. So know that you don't burn yourself out. Don't work until midnight. Don't sacrifice time with your family and work all weekend, and find that balance, that mediocrity in there of giving up something else so that you don't have to have exactly what the Joneses have, or that you change your job so you're earning some more money, or you've got a hustle that's working, or look outside the box and how you can do things in a more balanced way.
So sickness will stop you building wealth. One of the things that I always used to say to my staff was, don't use your sick leave unless you're actually sick, because so many of them used to think that each month they just take a sick day because it's like an entitlement. And it used to really worry me, because when the girls or the boys used to get sick, they didn't actually have that protection, what sick pay was actually created for, that it would paid you while you couldn't work. And so it's very important to just plan and be sensible about those sort of things. You cannot build wealth and you will go backwards if you're sick and you can't show up and do your work. So just be consciously aware. Maybe put in place some insurance if you're alone on your own and you've got debt, and you might want to take out some insurance policy on your life or on terminal illness or something like that, or make sure it's included with your super, just to protect yourself.
Some of these amounts don't have to even come out of more money from your earnings. Some super funds have that insurance built into them. So you can call up your super fund and they'll run you through a few questions, but they can actually take out your life insurance or total permanent illness, which is if you've got a critical illness or you're not incapacitated in some way to be able to work, you can actually start claiming that insurance, and the insurance premiums are taken out of your superannuation that's already there. So that's not coming out of your cash flow that you're trying to budget each month. So there's some smart things and smart ways to do things and to look at. And again, be curious, ladies. So this one here, obesity and other dietary illnesses make insurance premiums skyrocket. And what they do is they ask you for your health records. So if you've been going to the doctor getting obesity pills, or you've got poor health, but you're there because you've got a poor heart or a poor ticker because you're living your life in bad food and total stress, then you're going to end up with skyrocketing health premiums if you can get them. And even in some cases, travel insurance you can't get either. So there are things that are going to affect all parts of your life, and you're going to end up potentially with a lower income off the back of it if you end up with life insurance premiums that have been reduced as a result of it. Hi, ladies. Before you go, we'd love to share something about our upcoming membership program that's already started and has got some amazing bunch of girls coming along every week to our calls. This is called Getting Life and Love Right. And it is about you thriving after divorce and not just surviving. And we're going to go through just a couple of little things that are in it and just cover off on some of the questions you might have. But if you've got more, please post them in the comments below or book a call in with us and you can jump on a call and we can answer anything you have that you wanted to know. Thriving after divorce, it's our inner circle. We have weekly coaching calls, and yes, they are with Fiona and myself, and they are live. They're in a group call and they last for about an hour. And they're on a Wednesday night because we call it our Wednesday hump day call, getting over the hump from the middle of the week. And we encourage you to bring vino or a water or a coffee or a tea and have a sundowner. So the calls are every week, and you also get some really cool tools, don't you, Fee?
Absolutely. And the good thing about it, it's for less than a glass of wine out at a restaurant or something like that. what we knew that the ladies needed was they needed support, and they needed emotionally healthy women around them, giving them good advice and a good shoulder, because that's not what you often get from friends and relatives. Because unless you're going through this situation or being through it, I think it's really hard to understand what it's actually really. So what we give you in this Getting Love and Life Right membership is a raw and real conversation. There's sundowner chat with Sandra or I every single week. We are Australia's #1 divorce and life transition coaches, and we have custom made this platform with not only education, but also the ability to have conversations that allows us to process and make progress. And each week you get 52 modules altogether. And within the modules, you've got lessons, but very importantly, we've got strategic homework. We are not talk coaches. We're not just going to listen to you talk and go over your problems over and over every week. What we want to do is to recognize what the big challenges are, and we've produced trainings on all of those different challenges. And then we've given you strategic homework. We want you to sit and contemplate and put yourself in a state where you can actually start to look at your life and take some of those layers and peel some of those protections back and have a look at what you've got going on. And then we're training you, and then we're implementing it into your life. And then you're being able to make progress because you're learning new tools and skills. So that's what we've created in this program. So we've got 52 separate modules of work. We've got a call every week, and we've got our amazing Facebook community of all the ladies involved in the program. This is where you can come in, you can celebrate, you can ask questions, but you've got beautiful women around you. And I think you put those things together. We've put in some guided meditations. We've got some interviews. We've got some male coaching. What's awesome to get a male perspective on some things, and lots of different things on lots of different topics. We cover everything from divorce, children, co-parenting. We've got dating. We've got things like why men ghost, why health things like us showing up, taking our clothes off for our first time in front of a stranger, how that's going to make us feel, how to overcome our limiting beliefs, how to build our confidence, all the things that we know the ladies need, we've put into this package.
So what does it cost? Like Fiona said, like it's less than a glass of wine that you might have next time you go out. And certainly the monthly membership option is $47 a month. And at the moment it's discounted down. It was $69, and our annual membership is $497. So it's a bit cheaper if you pay it up front for the year, if you can afford to do it that way. So yeah, you save $67 by paying it on the annual. It's $1.36 a day, ladies. So not even a cup of coffee. So the ability for you to be able to stay connected with some pretty cool women, that's us, and the ability for you to be able to stay knowledgeable and have support and get the right response to your questions, or help you navigate some roadblocks that come up that will inevitably happen in life. And to know that you've got your sister group there surrounding you with not just a safe space, but really great knowledge as well.
This has really been amazing for a lot of the girls that have done our other programs. They come back into this group because they know the power of community, and they've been surrounded by their sisterhood for the 12 weeks if they've done Shine or Dating for Success, or the 12 months if they've done Reset and Shine. And then they miss it. They miss the community. They miss the conversation and the calls. And so they come back into this group. It's a great community. And we thought we'd just run you through the 10 reasons to join Getting Life and Love.
Yeah, transformative insights. Literally, they are right there. So unlike just generic advice, this is specific for where you're at right now, and the support to be able to help you navigate your way through what can be one of the most challenging times of your life. It helps you grow, and it helps you be able to be mature and responsive in the right way with your answers that you might have to give out to family and friends and kids and your ex as well. And learning on your own terms, your life, your schedule, girls. You get access to the vault. It's self-learning. You get to be able to pull down what you need when you need it, as opposed to just having it getting fed to you each week in a structured program. This is something that is when you need it, you can just go and know that you've got that library there to go and pull that right module out at the time, and you can do it anywhere as long as you can download it to your computer or look at how you're doing things, and you can have it so that you can sit there under the tree or have it on your tablet. Enjoyable and simple learning. Say goodbye to complexity. It's super straightforward. You've got some really great videos there and some lessons that you can take that are practical, and just going through with tools and teachings designed to broaden that mind and level of consciousness, with meditations in there and a few extra cool things as well. Just about turning actions or knowledge into action, ladies. And we know it, but don't do it. It's as good as us not knowing it. Our program ensures that you learn what you learn isn't just about integrated into your life, but it's about how you can actually apply it into real life.
Yep. So a safe digital haven, experience a supportive and private community where your voice is heard and your privacy is respected. We make sure that you're respected in our community, that everyone respects each other. It's a safe place to come home to. You're not going to get attacked, and we have a no tolerance policy of people who belittle other people. So you're not going to get in this group what you get in other groups. We don't allow it. In this group, you will build lasting friendships and relationships. A lot of the ladies build friendships with ladies, and they can go out and have coffees and meet up with them. They can be their dating wingman when they start to date. It's just wonderful to have people who understand where we're at, and we don't need to explain, and we don't need to try and get them to understand why we feel the way we do. They just get it, and that is invaluable to have those people around us. You are getting guided by expert coaches. We give you advice, we give you recommendations, we give you a push when you need it, and we give you a hug when you need it. We are not just going to listen to you with your old rhetoric, with your old limiting beliefs, with your reasons why you can't do something. We're that friend that you need when you don't think you need someone sometimes. So we can actually hold you accountable to a higher standard and encourage you and show you what it looks like to create a beautiful new life for yourself. You get to step up when you're ready. This program is very much a platform for a lot of the girls to find their feet and to build their confidence, do whatever else they're doing. And very often it leads on to them going into the Shine program or going into one of the other programs. That's a great thing, because we want you to make an educated decision and for you to choose to do higher work when you're ready. This is a great place for you to build your confidence to do that. There's a treasure trove of resources. Everything I do is based by science. It's knowledge, but it's more than information. It actually helps you transform your life. We can talk about things until the cows come home, but that's never going to solve your problems. Time's not the answer. It's actually learning and implementing and moving forward, processing, progressing. And so we are coaches and we're results focused, and we want you to create a beautiful new life for yourself. So that's what this program is all about. It's only $47 a month or $497 a year. I want you to keep that in context. If you go and have one or two counseling sessions or psychology sessions or psychiatry sessions, they're probably $200 to $300 each. And a lot of the time you'll walk away with not a lot of new skills or tools. The reality is that they get 10 to 15 minutes in a normal consultation or an hour in a private consultation to see you and to help you. And it's just not enough time. What I had just stopped doing one-on-one consults because I just knew that they weren't serving my clients. I knew that they needed more than that. And this is our program that we knew that we could put together that would help anybody in our community who wanted to do some personal development work at a deeper level. You can have a look at our reviews. We get success leaves clues, and it's no accident that we get the rave reviews that we do. What we do works. So if you'd like to join our community and become the happiest, wisest, most beautiful woman you can, we would love to invite you.
Absolutely, girls. Jump on our website. It's womenontransition.com, and there's a membership tab at the top, or you can /GLLR after womenontransition.com. So we're here and we'll be there every week in your inbox and online. And you get to have lots of us and lots of our community too, which is really valuable. We love them. So thanks, ladies. Super cool to be able to share all of this with you. And Yeah, really appreciate it.
Ladies, if you're not in our community, we would love to invite you to join us. We have 2 Facebook groups, but this Facebook group is for the Reset Your Life and Find Love After Separation or Divorce, and it's our community group. So you're welcome to join that group if you've been to any of our Reset events. As well as that group, we have our big group, what's called Women Growing, Healing and Loving After Separation and Divorce, both run by Sandra and I from Women on Transition. And these are communities that one has 18,000 ladies in it from around the world who are all going through this situation. And I think what I wanted when I looked for groups when I was going through my divorce, I found a lot of groups that were very negative. They were quite toxic. They were man-hating, and they just made me feel miserable and sad. And I didn't want to feel like that. So I wanted people around me who would let me know that I was going to be okay, that would inspire me, that would show me that there's a pathway forward. And when I couldn't find, that's why I created Women on Transition. So if you are positive and want to be proactive and you're committed to not allowing your divorce to define you, then please join our groups and become part of our community, because we know that this is a temporary situation that you're in, and that you are beautiful and you're smart and you're strong and you're powerful, and you are going to get through this. And we want you to get through it in a way that, is the best possible way that you can do.
So this is the community group here. So it's called Women Healing, Growing and Loving After Separation or Divorce. So ladies, we're in here. We answer your questions, and there's some great little motivational feeds in here too, and things you can check in and actually share things with each other as well. So this is the right one, isn't it, Fee?
Yep.
Awesome. Ladies, we want to stay connected and we want to be able to support you. We know how hard it is to do this on your own and navigate all of these first-time things in some cases that you're having to navigate, not just for the first time, but very differently and truly out of your comfort zone. And potentially for the first time you've had to manage finances, or the first time you've had to be the only one that is responsible for them, and you've got kids and you've got a life ahead. And we're here for you. We're not here to give you financial advice, but we're certainly here to be able to support you and know that we can point you in the right direction if you need. But the more educated you are, the more educated decisions you'll make, and the better, stronger decisions you'll make for you and for your family for the rest of your life.
I think our emotional intelligence, being able to control our emotions, the way that we're showing up in the world, the way that we're reacting, it's the most important thing. When you heal, you're going to allow your kids and your family to heal. And being a role model and showing your kids what's possible is the very best thing I believe any mama can do through going through these experiences.
So thank you for spending time with us today. I know conversations like this can sometimes stir up emotion. So if something resonated with you, just take a moment to be gentle with yourself. Life after divorce can often feel isolating, but you don't have to do this alone. So if you would like some extra support or connection or guidance, you can learn more about our coaching programs, our 3-day events, and our community at womenontransition.com. And if this episode was helpful, you're more than welcome to subscribe, share it with another woman who might need it, or leave us a positive review. It all helps to make more women be able to find our space. So until next time, remember, you're not broken. This chapter doesn't have to define you. It's simply part of your becoming. See you next time.